Hello and welcome to Chronological Clone Wars, presented by the Podawakens, part of the Logjam Media podcasting network. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, on his first watch is Logan. How are you today, Logan?
Feeling very chronological this week, Jordan, because the time changed and I'm feeling older and older as the days go on. I have not caught up to. I don't know how your sleep schedule's been, and it's going to get even wackier here in a couple months for you. But
Yeah.
gosh, I feel like I've just gotten run over by a bus this week.
Yeah, last week I was tired every day. Like earlier
Yeah,
than usual, wanting to go to bed, just being out of it. We're recording this on the 17th of March. Happy St. Patrick's Day, I guess. By the time you're listening to it, it's April. So happy belated St. Patrick's Day.
right.
But we were still in the funk of the time change. So
Got to get
that's
rid of it.
been a mess.
Got to get rid of it. Like
Yeah,
it's
though
like
I read
President
that
Snoke.
supposedly the reason they stopped changing it is that like teachers pointed out like kids would be waiting in the dark
Yes.
for buses and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing we're stuck with this until kids stop going to school.
Yeah.
So,
Which has become
that
more
is.
of a reality lately. You can just do it
Yeah,
virtually. Why not?
or just skip.
Right.
Don't do that. Don't tell children I listen to this podcast. It isn't to skip school.
Clone Wars comes, chronological Clone Wars becomes under attack. I've got the radio voice, the guy on the radio voice that
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah, the Tom
This
game,
episode,
like,
yeah. Which he's the captain, right? Like he's the
he
the
plays. He plays Admiral Yularen,
yes,
I think.
yes. Because every time I hear
He
him, I'm like,
voices
wait,
a
what?
few people. He voices Yoda too, I think.
That's the cool thing about voice actors is like they can do multiple. Could you imagine being a voice actor and you had the scene together? That'd be wild. Like I
Well,
know that you would.
Seth Green, right? Seth
Yeah,
Green,
yeah,
famous actor.
yep,
Chris from Family Guy. He plays Toto in this episode, the droid
I
from
thought you
Cad
meant the
Bane.
little dog from Wizard of
No,
Oz. No,
Toto.
okay.
Cad Bane's droid, but he also voiced the chairman's son last week.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought it sounded like him, and I Googled it, and it was. And then this week, I was like, that sounds like Seth Green again. And it was. And I was like, all right, there you go. So that's cool. He's a big Star Wars fan.
I listened to the Pod Meets World, and it's got Will Friedle on it. And he's like, every time that they talk voice acting, he's always like, I wish Lucasfilm would approach me about doing voice actor. Like, it'd be so cool. Like, could you imagine that's your job?
Ron Stoppable.
Right. Yeah. I love it though. Like
he was also Batman Beyond. He was Terry McGinnis in Batman Beyond.
He was. He talks about it often. They've got a podcast of voice actors, and I think they've had a bunch of the Clone Wars people on. So, and they're always so. Next year, I am definitely going to MegaCon, and I think Ashley I guilted into going with me because she felt bad that I didn't go this time because one of the friends I was going to go with just wasn't available that weekend.
Good, lay it on thick.
Right. I was like, I can't believe how hurt I am, but I think one of my goals is to meet some of these people that because I imagine they don't have as massive of lines as the face like you know what I mean?
Do. I'm sure they do.
Oh
I'm
my
sure
gosh.
they do. For a lot of people, they
not
were
Ewan in them. Like they're not gonna have
maybe not as much as Ewan, but they'll have a line.
Yeah.
Like Ashley Eckstein is very
True.
popular.
Yeah, that's true. But she's got other
James
things
Arnold
that she's
Taylor.
ventured in. Yeah.
Yeah, That's So Raven. She was in That's So Raven.
Yeah.
James Arnold Taylor, I saw him at Star Wars Weekends 2015. I went to, you know how they used to do Star Wars Weekends and they have like shows and stuff?
Yep.
I went to one of his, it was at the Beauty and the Beast Theater. And it was him just talking about getting into voice acting, and he would do his voices, and it was really great.
Cool. Gosh, I wish they'd bring that back. God, you know what
I found yesterday when I was looking for my hoodies? I found my Star Wars Weekends shirts, and I'm wearing one. I packed it. I washed it and packed it. I'm wearing this sucker. I can fit into it again. Yeah. I'm gonna wear it.
It's really weird to me too, Jordan, because Hollywood Studios, it is more crowded than it used to be because of Galaxy's Edge, because of Toy Story. But I still feel like it is May. They would do it in May, I assume, May 4th, like around that time. Like
yeah, that's when they did it before. It's like
I feel like it's not summer crowds yet. They could still do it, and I get there's some logistic, but there's so many empty theaters now, Jordan, in that area, and Launch Bay, and like there's so many empty things that they could use for that, and you could
Put
put
them in Launch Bay.
Raiders for a little bit, like you
They
know,
had them everywhere, man. Like
makes
Chewy,
sense.
when I went there, Chewy was right across from Star Tours,
Yeah,
where the speeder is. That's where
right.
you met Chewy,
Yeah,
right? Like right there. Um, Padme was like, we met her on like the streets of America that
yeah.
were when they were there. You know, but now you have Batu. You can put them places. You
You
know,
want
like
you want more to do, Jordan? We should totally do an episode, a one-off episode of let's plan a Star Wars weekend for
oh,
Disney's
we
Hollywood
should.
Studios. That'd be a
That'd be
lot of
fun.
fun. Yeah,
Like how would we?
drinks, food, and then
Yeah, like
characters.
current day, like how we would produce a Star Wars weekend. What it would include.
We could have Jack on. That'd be fun. That'd be a
Yes,
long
that would be
episode,
fun. I'll
but that'd
write
be a
this down.
but that'd be a lot of fun. That'd be like one of our hour and a half, 2 hour like. But people I think would listen to it. I think it would be a hit. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Because man, if you did, like I got to go once, Jordan. It was
Me
so
too.
cool though. Like it was so cool.
I went multiple days, but I went
Yeah.
only in 2015, and thankfully that was the last one. I
That's
was
yes.
lucky
That's
that I
when
got to go.
yes. I think I went 2014. It was the year in between when I came to visit you guys, and I went by myself. Or no, yes, yes, because I saw. I'm not even gonna try it. Is it Zam Wessel?
Yeah, Zam Wessel. Yeah,
Yeah, I got a picture with her because I had a crush on her. So I love assassins.
yeah, yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah,
Oh my god! So in almost 10 years since Star Wars
let's do
weekends
it.
has been a thing. All right, so we're talking season 3, episode 8, Evil Plans. Season 1, episode 22, Hostage Crisis, and season 3, episode 9, Hunt for Zero. Before we jump in, any general thoughts? General thoughts
General thoughts?
about these batches of episodes, which I thought when I was looking at them would be more related than they were. I guess I mean they have a through line, but the
Yeah.
first episode is R2 and 3PO. But and kind of did you have this built up in your head at all of like we're finally finishing season 1? What about this episode made us wait this long chronologically? Like, what
Yeah.
was your thoughts going into this?
Yeah, that I mean, ultimately, I was like, I wonder what made it this episode. And again, I don't obviously think the writers probably were thinking that this is how they would do it. That they'd have some flashback episodes. And again, I still think the reason that they went this path more with Clone Wars was because I do think that you know a target audience where they knew there were going to be a lot of kids or people my age, high school, college, that were coming home after school or after work or their part-time jobs and just wanted entertainment value. And I think sometimes with especially younger groups that you have a harder time keeping their focus when uh, it's more of a streamlined story. Whereas you kind of jump around, you're like, all right, what episode are we getting next? It's kind of that surprise element. Because I do think you have a hard time holding attention if you focus too much on one. So I like the ones that have through lines because I think that they, especially because of how well this show's written. I think it struggles in other aspects, like in other TV shows, but I think because of how well this is written and because we can now go back and watch it in chronological order because of streaming, I think it benefits this show because you can do this. Like, and that's the cool thing about this universe is that, or anything now, is that when there's not continuity, they now build continuity into it. And there, I would say Clone Wars is a little bit ahead of their time because I mean, I feel like when you were 2005 to like 2011, 2012, like you were really before your time because streaming didn't really take off. So until about 2000, what, 13, like 11, 12, 13.
I'd say 13 was like the big year.
Yeah. That's wild to think that you and I met the year that streaming really took off. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like people were talking about Netflix a
yeah,
lot, but like I
you got
signed up for
DVDs.
it. Yeah, I signed up
Yeah.
for it probably in like 2012
Hmm.
because I was preparing for Arrested Development, which was
Yeah.
going to Netflix in
Yep.
2013.
That was the first big
So
one. Like that's the one,
yeah,
and I didn't
House
love
of
the show.
Cards.
Yeah.
House of
Yep.
Cards was a big deal back then. And then I was worried about my internet being able to even handle it because
Yeah.
my parents didn't have good internet. So I was like, well, we be even able to watch this stuff. Then it kind of took off. Like Clone Wars did released episodes on Netflix around the same year, I think. Because what happened was when the show got canceled, they had episodes that were finished that they didn't know where to put. 2014 is when they got put on Netflix. So, the lost episodes is what they called them. So that is, that's what you're
Lost.
looking at, is around like 13,
Yeah.
14, really exploding streaming scene.
Yeah. Because we had DVDs. We watched How I Met Your
I
Mother
still
on
do.
our DVDs. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You still have tons of DVDs, which I don't think many people do. Jordan, it was actually really interesting. I saw somebody posted it for some reason on our like internal HOA page of like her husband's like Blu-ray DVD. I'll have to see if I can find it again.
Yeah.
But that she goes, does anybody else's husband still have rooms and shelves full of Blu-ray
Did you say, yeah,
DVDs?
mine does?
I was like, yeah, my husband. Yeah, my podcast husband does. Like, it's unbelievable. But it's interesting because like there is, I think there's I remember when DVD players, Jordan, were like $200, like $150. Now they're like $30 because
Yeah, they're cheap.
they're just trying to get rid of them. So
4K is not, though. I want to get a 4K Blu-ray
yeah,
in
those
my
are a little bit more
bedroom,
expensive.
but
Yeah.
I don't even have a 4K TV, but I need to have the best quality. All right.
I have to upgrade TVs because Jordan, those light package thing. My TV's too old to run the
So it
lights
doesn't sync with it.
package. Nope, it has to be a 22 and a year 2022 and above. And
Wow.
I have another. I bought a TV. I think it's, what is this? I forget what it's called. It's sitting behind me, but I don't remember what it's called. So I think one's going to go in here. I think what we're going to do is I'll probably buy another one and put the one that's in the living room out the back porch or like lanai
Oh,
area,
nice.
and then have the new TV sit on the wall here. So
Yeah, I think my TV that I have in our house is from 2015. So I mean, that's already 9 years old.
but I thought it'd be cool, like kind of transitioning into the. I thought it'd be really cool to see Clone Wars with, brand new Samsung TV that has the light package that it syncs
That
up
would
with
be
Clone
cool.
Wars. That'd be cool, like Star Wars especially. I feel like I've seen my friend that I room with in 2015, Andrew. He had the light package, and he will Snapchat pictures, and he watched. It was the he watches the Anakin Obi-Wan fight.
Okay.
Duel of the Fates, and like it's so cool to see on the light package because it just it was a Mustafar that we're fighting on, right? So
Yeah, that's Battle of the Heroes, actually.
is it? What's Duel of Fates?
Duel of Fates is episode 1 Darth Maul fight.
Huh. I've always mixed them up then. Well, anyway.
All right, yeah, so I guess we can dive in. I kind of forgot what Hostage Crisis was and all that, so like I was really amped for that episode, and it was fine.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. Okay, so first one was Evil Plans. This was directed by Brian Kalin O'Connell, written by Steve Mitchell and Craig Van Sickle. Premiered November 5th, 2010. The Disney Plus synopsis for this one was: while shopping on Coruscant, C-3PO and R2-D2 are abducted. So the intro has Jabba, has Cad Bane on a mission, and then we kind of enter to the episode proper, and we have Padme is stressing about a dinner party. 3PO needs to go out and get the fruit that goes on the dessert because they didn't have the fruit. R2 goes with him. Anakin gives him credits and says, don't get swindled, right? And 3PO kind of takes offense to that. Then we have Cad Bane, who's watching 3PO and R2 in the street. And 3PO's talking to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper does try to swindle him. He wants 4 credits for each. Originally, so it sounds like these fruit should be about 1 credit each. Because when he says 4 credits, 3PO says, that's a fair deal. Then the guy says, each. And he's like, all right, here's 16. And the guy's like, I meant 32, right? Like, didn't do the math right.
Terrible negotiating.
They pay for it. They pay for the 32. They get the fruit. And then we get Toto following them, Cad Bane's droid. He talks to them, trying to scam them, find their inner self, right? R2 is very into this. He's like, I got to go get a bath. Like, I'm going to get this bath. And apparently this is all set up just to get R2 away from 3PO so they could capture 3PO. I forgot about that. I thought maybe this spa place was like in on it and they were going to capture the droids in the
Yeah,
spa.
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
It's like as soon as R2 leaves, they just like push 3PO into the speeder. They're like, we're gone.
Yep.
R2 goes into the maintenance spa. Toto drops 3PO off to Cad Bane. Now they're going to try to torture him and hack into him, see if they get any sort of information, because they know he's Padme's protocol droid, and they want the Senate floor plans to lead into the next episode, Hostage Crisis. 3PO doesn't have them. Now, he does give it up a little bit here. He's a little dumb. He says, that was R2's specialty. And they're like, the astromech. We got to go get the astromech. You know what really got me, Logan, is when R2 is hiding scared and he's like shaking and making noises. It reminds me of my dog Scared. And I was
gonna
not
say like a
that.
thunderstorm or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like,
like,
no, I'm good with this. Yeah. R2, but again, we talked about this, I think, a couple of episodes ago, where R2 is dog-like and C-3PO seems more cat-like, where, yeah, I think R2 is just that fun-loving, whereas C-3PO gets himself into trouble a little bit, then he's a little bit more thought-aware. R2 just reacts on instinct.
Yeah, like, you can't liken 3PO to an animal because he can talk and stuff.
Yeah,
like, R2
that's a tough
is
part.
likened to an animal. Same thing with like BD1 in Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. He feels like your buddy. He feels like your dog. You know,
Chewie does too. Like Chewie feels very dog-like. So whenever they think Chewie felt more like
he's based off George Lucas's dog.
Oh, is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, his dog Indiana, which then
That's
he named
cool.
Indiana Jones after.
I love that.
So, little fun trivia there. 3PO, I don't know how I would. He's like your friend that's like.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he's like your friend that like is very literal.
Yeah,
that just 3PO. You're like, dude, all right, where I'm not like I'm not being literal right now.
He doesn't get social cues at all.
Yes,
like he doesn't get social. He's got no filter or social cues.
Yeah.
So,
well, so what I liked about this scene too is R2 is clearly scared. He's shaking. He's whatever. But when he finds out that they have 3PO, when he finds out what they want, he realizes he needs to give himself up. And he purposely knocks something over, draws their attention. He's like, whoa, I'm right here, right? And he goes knowing he has to go, get 3PO. So they do take the Senate map from R2. People start to arrive for the party. 3PO and R2 get dropped back off. They land right back in front of the fruit. Thankfully, nobody picked it up. They pick it up. They have their memories wiped. They don't remember what happened. They had to do that because there's no mention of that in the next episode. So they had to make sure that they wiped their memory. Cad Bane goes back to Jabba, gets paid, and Jabba's like, hey, how about another job? And Cad Bane's like, if you pay me, sure. And Jabba has a meeting with the Council of the Hutts, and they want to break Ziro free. So they're hiring Cad Bane to do so. The droids arrive. My favorite part of this episode, the whole thing, is Padme telling 3PO he did a magnificent job, and he just can't stop. This is the parroting, right? He can't shut up about it. A magnificent job.
Yes.
A magnificent job. Just like he's like this is where he is like a dog, where like you gave him the praise, and he's like, yes, I am a good boy. Thank you.
It's like
it just cuts the credits with him saying, "Hey, magnificent."
Yeah, I just love the droids. Like Ashley, to this day, does not stop talking. Like she will make open reference. And if you know anything about my wife, the only Star Wars movie she's really seen all the way through was Rise of Skywalker, and she loved it. And which was really weird.
You said that in our 2019 episode.
Yeah,
it's now available on YouTube as well.
Right, go check it out. But it was funny, Jordan, because I would say every month at some point, because now the orange cat kind of reminds her of Dio, and She references Dio all the time, and we still to this day, Jordan, will walk around and sometimes we'll go, "No, thank you, no, thank you."
Dio is so good. I
Yes,
love that droid. Um, no, I love 3PO and R2, so I know some people get to these episodes and are like, ugh.
these are some of my
But
favorite.
yeah, this was fun. And just that last minute where like their memory is wiped. They did not do a
Right?
magnificent job, but it still
No,
gets it, because Anakin is giving them a hard time. You guys were almost late. You guys almost ruined it. And Padme's like, you're too hard on them. It is a very like parent relationship, right? Where, you know, Padme is the one that is not the bad guy, right? Anakin's the hard to please father, and Padme is the forgiving mother. Just really, really funny stuff there. I do want to say, I do not think. All right, so we talked about before, like, how did they plan these, right? Did they plan them to be, uh, like, did they make Hostage Crisis and then decide, oh, we have a good story for this? We're going to go ahead and do it. So, Hostage Crisis production code is 204, which means it was produced as like the fourth episode of season 2, but it premiered as the season 1 finale. The episode that we just watched, Evil Plans, was coded 303, which means it was the third episode of season 3 when they were producing them. In my opinion, I think, and that's just production codes, but I think that they decided to go back and backtrack this, and it wasn't planned to be a prequel episode until they were like, oh, we got a story to tell. And they're like, oh, why would Cad Bane capture them? Oh, because he's doing the Senate thing. We'll have it take place before then. And there is a giveaway here, I think, that alludes to this. And this is something that happens, just plot hole. I don't know if you want to call it plot holes. It's not really a plot hole. It doesn't affect the plot. It could be you can excuse it by Cad Bane lying. You can do all that. But Cad Bane knows that this is Padme Amidala's droid he's following. In Hostage Crisis, he seems to have no clue who Padme is. She says something, and he's like, "Oh, who are you? Who are you?" And she says about Padme Amidala. He's like, "Oh, so you're Padme Amidala." Like, he had no clue who she was, but he knew who her droid was. So, in my opinion, I think that is something that kind of gives it away that they were produced independently and like not planned to be follow up to each other until. And you could excuse it if Cad Bane lying to Padme, whatever. It doesn't matter that much. Just something I was thinking about. All right, Hostage Crisis. Season 1, Episode 22. Synopsis: Bounty hunters seize control of the Senate building. This episode was directed by Giancarlo Volpe and written by Egan Mahoney, who was also a writer on The Mentalist, apparently, and Rome. But that premiered March 20th, 2009. So this episode, Cad Bane arrives. We get to see Aura Singh again. So, okay, I'm confused. We just saw Aura Singh try to assassinate Padme like 2 weeks ago. She got captured though, right?
Mm, yeah, I thought so. Because they thought she was dead at first, but then she
Yeah.
comes back. Wait, does she? I don't think she does actually. Like I can't remember them arresting her. When did they would? Although she's in there, so she's in that room, right? When Ahsoka like disarm. Yeah, I would think that.
I would have thought they captured her.
Or does somebody help her get away? Like I feel. No,
I
I
know
like.
it leads them. I know it leads them to Ziro.
Yeah,
Ziro is the one that hired her,
that's right.
right? And that's how he got captured for them to break him out now. Like, I get that through line. But it was surprising to see Aura Singh because At first, I was like, "Oh, cool, Aura Singh," and then I was like, "Wait a minute."
Like she was
I
knocked
just
out in the bedroom after Ahsoka stuns her,
and they just let her
or
go.
sorry, Padme stuns her. Yeah, maybe
They're just like,
we need her for
"Don't need her."
plot development later on, so let's just let her. Yeah, maybe it's
Yeah,
one of those things. Because now that I think about it, I don't remember her actually being. I remember them going. I think what is confusing is they traveled to Zero. I think after, right?
yeah. Right after that, they're like,
Yeah,
"Purple." Oh, I know who that
yeah,
is, but they
yeah.
don't show what happened to Aura Singh.
So
So
maybe
they either
that's
left
why.
her unconscious, she wakes up, and
Yeah.
if so, that's just bad
Police work, I
policing,
guess.
bad
Yeah,
Jedi work. I don't know. You shouldn't leave a person that was just assassinating somebody.
do
Or they
better.
capture her. I guess she broke out. We could say that too.
That's true.
Just something I just noticed when I was reading it right now. I was like, wait. Like when I watched the episode, I was like, oh, cool, Aura Singh. And then literally when we are talking about it right now, I'm like, wait a minute. Shouldn't she be in jail?
Yeah, that is kind of weird because I think that the last time we see her, she's stunned.
We get Padme and Anakin talking in her office. He tells her there's nothing more important than what I feel about you. So this whole exchange is very. I don't know how I want to say this. He is annoyingly in love,
Yeah,
I will say. He's like, can't we just spend time together? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, dude, I'm doing my job as a
yeah.
senator. We can't really be seen like this. She's like, but I want to.
Puppy
I
love.
love you more than I love than you. I love you. You should love me more than your work, is pretty much
Yeah.
what he's saying here. And he's like, I like that they bring this back. He says, Obi-Wan told me that this is my life, right? The lightsaber. He
Mhm.
did in episode 2 Attack of the Clones when he loses it, but I think he's also referencing that when he first built it, it was something that Obi-Wan drilled into his head as well. And he gives it to her as like a metaphor of like, I am giving you my life, right? That's what it's supposed to be. Why are they so worried about Bail Organa walking in on them?
That's what I was confused about. I was like, it's not like they're frolicking in the bed or something like it's not like they're gonna walk in and they're gonna be seen making out. Like they're not.
They were just talking.
Right. So yeah.
She's like, Anakin, hide.
Right. It's like, where was he not supposed to be? Like, or did maybe we just are supposed to assume that Padme said that she is seeing a love? I don't know. Like, I feel like that's strange. Like, why would Organa would be like, oh, hey, Anakin, how's it going? Is he not supposed to be in her chamber? Like, is that weird?
It's weird. It's just her office, right? I mean, like, and it's made even more weird because they did hide it. And then she's like, I have his lightsaber. And he's like, why do you have a Jedi's lightsaber? Like, if
Yeah.
like, just next time, just have him be there and you're fine. He would have his lightsaber. This would all have been diffused so much easily. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if it's because, like, maybe this is still not like Bail and Padme are not. So I don't know. I think we saw them together in Attack of the Clones. But my thought was maybe she hasn't fully trusted him yet.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, because Bail is going to be one of the ones that takes his kid
Mm-hmm.
and her kid. So obviously, at some point,
He knows.
he's in that inner circle enough.
Yeah.
Not that he has to know that who she's pregnant with, like whose baby it is, but I think when you see her only talking to like one dude all the time, you're probably like, yeah, that's the guy that knocked her out. Right? I mean, like that's
yeah.
so maybe that's what they were worried about is like, oh, you're already seen too much with me anyway. I don't know. It was weird. I was like, Bale's a good guy. Like, why are you worried about this?
Yeah.
So maybe she just doesn't fully trust him at this point, and they're not like at that stage yet where she feels comfortable just having him know that Anakin's even a friend of hers. Is weird. They kiss before Bale comes in. We get the bounty hunters going into the building. This is where we get Bale coming in. Anakin hides. Padme takes the lightsaber and stuffs it in her sleeves. That way Bale doesn't see that there's a lightsaber on her desk. And he's like, come on, right now with me. do not take a moment. Come, we got to stop this
Right.
vote. If I'm Padme, I'd be like, wait, I gotta like powder my nose or
Yeah.
something. I
I
don't
gotta
know. Like,
pee real
come
quick,
make
man.
up
Like,
something. Yeah,
right.
get off my ass, dude.
Right. Like,
I'll
I'm a
be
senator.
there.
Get your ass out
All
of my
right.
way.
Yeah.
Although he's a senator too, but come on, man.
Cad Bane throws a thermal detonator in like the guards room during a guard switch, and that just like knocked all of them out. So that's good for them, not for the
Seems like
guard.
great planning, you know?
Yeah, he's like shift change, and then he's like
Right.
boom.
Yeah, it's
It
like,
worked out pretty well.
yeah, nice job, Cad.
He walks in with Padme and the other senators and just starts firing. Did you know this guy was dead? This senator that stands up to them. I'm like, dude, you gotta shut your mouth,
Yeah.
man. He's like, I will not stand for this. He's shot
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah. Yep. Cad Bane's ruthless. Like, if of all of them, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm not gonna really like. I feel like Han or them like would have shot into the floor or something like that. Some of these
Yeah.
bounties would have been like, give him a warning shot a little bit. But yeah, um, yeah, this is bad.
Then we have Palpatine in his office. He gets the message from Cad Bane. He wants to free Ziro the Hutt. Um, I like this too, where Palpatine asks the other senator, like, help me with this door. And they're trying to open it.
Yeah.
And just knowing that he could probably just use the force
Yes.
and open it. But he doesn't want to show it to the guy, so he's like, I guess I am stuck here after all. Like,
Darn.
and I wonder how much of this was. I think Job was a wild card. I don't think this was part of Sidious's plan, Palpatine's plan here. So I think he is a little like surprised by this. Like, this had nothing to do with the Separatists. It was
Yeah.
Jabba the Hutt. So
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Cad Bane collects all the communication devices. This is where he comes to Padme, and he's like, "Oh, who are you?" And then they see Padme. All of these people suck. All right, Padme does what 3PO did last episode. 3PO is like, "Oh, that's R2's specialty." Padme is staring down Anakin's hiding spot, and
Yeah.
Cad Bane's like, "Oh, look, there's somebody right there.
Yeah.
Fire at that guy."
Yep.
Anakin still has no clue that he doesn't have a saber until he takes on the droid, and the droid and another hunter. They're about to fire at him. And he's like, "Oh crap! Like I don't have that." Now I thought it was very smart from the bounty hunters to realize when they find the droid. He realizes that he does not have his saber. He's like, "Oh, there's no lightsaber cut marks on this."
Mm-hmm.
Pretty smart from that
It
bounty
was.
hunter.
Yeah. Usually not that smart.
Before that, Anakin hotwired the communications and kind of gets in touch with Palpatine. Also, like this moment when he is hiding and he does the mind trick.
Mm-hmm.
And what I liked about this was it's not your typical mind trick where the person is right in front of you trying to convince you of something else. He's hidden and he's just like, you have 2 more floors to search. And
Yeah.
the guy's like, come on, yeah, we got 2 more floors to search. He just turns around. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that was good. You don't usually see it like that. From a distance, long range, baby.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
And it makes him not doubt it as much too, right? Because like, you know, you have to be really weak-minded to have somebody tell you right to your face and you'd be like, yes, of course. Like, and make it think it's your own idea. When the person's hiding and you don't know there's a person doing it, it makes it think more like, oh, this is my own original thought.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being told this thing.
Right, yeah.
Cad Bane calls Palpatine again. He wants a pardon disc to set Ziro free. He wants the senator that's with him to hand it over. Anakin gets captured. The senator arrives at the prison. They exchange. Ziro is free. Then the bounty hunters are going to set lasers here, which they're like, if anybody moves, this place goes down. This is when I noticed Senator Chuchi is in this episode. I talked about it last week that she appears again. She's just like crouched up with them in this room. Like she doesn't have any lines. The clones arrive and they're like, all right, cool. Palpatine's like, hey, Cad Bane, you suck. You think I'm going to let you get away with this? And he's like, actually, these lasers are also a bomb. I can just blow this place up if anybody gives me problems. And he's like, all right, you win this time. Anakin wakes up and Senator Chuchi is in the room. Like I said, Ziro arrives. They all escape. And Padme gives Anakin his lightsaber, frees him, and like he starts cutting a hole in the floor to get past the lasers, which I thought was really cool. But it also worked out perfectly that at the same time, Zero's complaining about like, I wanted people dead, right? And Cad Bane's like, fine, I'll blow up the senators.
That was a pretty
And
good impression of Zero. That was
thanks.
pretty good.
And then Anakin's cutting the hole, and it happens like perfect timing. Cuts the hole, thing blows up. I really liked Hostage Crisis because I liked that Cad Bane was able to win, and that we got to see him. Like, I feel like we've had him in a few episodes, but I know for him, he was probably built up in your head a bit because of Book of Boba Fett a bit, right? You're like, who is
Yep.
this guy? He looks cool,
Yep.
and then you're like, hopefully, like he got to actually do something. We talked about how Grievous loses all the time. Like Cad Bane got to have like a victory here. Not a total victory because he doesn't like they don't blow up the senators, but he gets exactly what he wanted in the last 2 episodes here.
Yeah, I think the stakes are always higher in shows that allow for the villains to win sometimes. The first show that comes to mind is definitely Game of Thrones, because I feel like a lot of people you don't like end up winning in that show, quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I just do. I feel like, there's such a tendency, for a show like this to lean more into the good guys will always prevail, and in this sense, But then you also have like anti-heroes, and you've got different people that you root for in Star Wars that maybe others might not. But
Yeah. All right, we got one more episode to talk about here, which is Hunt for Ziro, directed by Stuart Lee, written by Steve Mitchell and Craig Van Sickle, as they continued writing these evil plans in Hunt for Zeros. November 12th, 2010 is when that premiered. So the synopsis is Ziro the Hutt finds himself wanted by the Hutt Council. So the Hutts broke him out because they were worried about this hollow diary he has that pretty much has all of their secrets and stuff like that. So they're worried about him like selling those, getting that out there. So they wanted him not to be like they didn't want him to squeal in prison. So they're like, you're going to stay with us. We're going to make sure you don't do anything bad. We get told in the opening thing that Quinlan Vos, Jedi Quinlan Vos, will team up with Obi-Wan. What's your thoughts on Quinlan Vos here? As he is in the background of one of these movies. He had a bunch of stuff to do in the old books. Not as much recently, but like I remember growing up knowing who Quinlan Vos was, of course, because I'm a nerd, and it was good to see him in here again. He has a pretty interesting relationship with Asajj Ventress in one of these books that were made from canceled Clone Wars episodes. So he would have gotten more to do in Clone Wars if they hadn't canceled it. But just general, he seems like, in my opinion, I'll say my opinion, then I'll throw it to you. He's a little bit more Anakin-esque than Obi-Wan, right? Like the way Obi-Wan doesn't seem to be a big fan of him.
yeah, he seems arrogant to a fault, where he's very confident in his abilities, and they get him into trouble. And he's overconfident, and I think he acts before he thinks, whereas Obi-Wan is much more calculated. And you can always tell, like, I think Obi-Wan's is always like kind of like that Jiminy Cricket for people watching Star Wars. Like, if he doesn't like him, like the conscience is speaking, and if Obi-Wan has some hesitancy to like somebody, then I think that's a sign and signal to the fans also to have some doubt.
Yeah, like the time when he just cuts down the door to
Yeah.
Zero's mom's place.
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude, like,
Obi-Wan's like,
chill.
people live here, boss.
Right.
So yeah, he arrives, he jumps from the gunship, right? Badass landing and all that. Obi-Wan's like, hey, we want to capture Cad Bane and Toto. We don't want to like kill them. False is like, whatever. Then we cut to the dance number, right? Which is very interesting. This is a prequel here because the singer is the singer from Return of the Jedi, the special edition anyway, and that's at Jabba's palace. But here we see her with the Hutt Council, and she's like Ziro's love interest, and she's the one that's going to break Ziro free. Which I thought was interesting. I was like, why would Jabba hire her later on in Return of the Jedi? The answer is at the end of this episode. Obi-Wan and Quinlan Voss show up to the Hutt Council. They say Ziro hasn't been here. Now, it looks like Quinlan Voss is able to do the Force Sense Echo almost, right? He picks up the drink.
Yep.
He's like, oh, no,
Zero, like,
Ziro was
scan
here.
it. Yeah.
That was cool.
I love that. I just love Jedi tricks. I mean,
Yeah.
their minds are just like, and each of them have different abilities that the others don't really.
Ziro escapes. Cad Bane says that the Jedi did not free him. So Cad Bane kind of sticks up for the Jedi here. He's like, they didn't free Ziro. Looks like somebody else did. We get this like sea creature attacking Obi-Wan when they're at the swamp, right? He kills the creature, and then Quinlan Voss like, hey, you done playing around here, man? Ziro stops at a little cabin. It's his mom's place, and he says, I want to like give you like leave my swamp rider here for your starship. I need to go to Teth for something, whatever. His mom, by the way, just has like creatures crawling on her. It was gross. I was having a tough time with this.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Then she's like eating some of them.
Yeah, it's very filthy.
That was rough.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Quinlan Voss when he walks in. He's like, oh, it sounds like somebody dies here. Like, when, so when Obi-Wan says, Voss, someone lives here, he's like, it smells like somebody died here.
Yeah.
So I can see that. Cad Bane and Toto are following along as well. They got past Obi-Wan and Quinlan. And when they enter in to talk to Ziro's mom, she's like, you're like the third person today. All right. She's like, my son already took off. Then some bounty hunter with his droid came in and threatened me. And they're like, well, we won't hurt your son. We just want to know where he is before the bounty hunter gets him. So she's like, they went to Teth. So they go to Teth. We see Ziro going for the Hollow Diary. Apparently it's like stored at his dad's grave. And he says he's never told his mom that his dad died. It's kind of rough. This is when we have the singer turn her gun on Ziro. And she actually kills him. I totally forgot Ziro dies like this.
Yep.
Is that a shock to you?
Yep. I was like, what? Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. Like I thought he was alive. Like I was like, oh, he's just sleeping. And then I was like, oh shit, he's really dead.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, no way. I really did. I was like, I thought we were going to get way more of Ziro, but I guess that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, from Hero to Ziro.
Jeez. Yeah.
He's dead.
Right. Bye-bye.
She killed him. Cad Bane arrives, finds Ziro dead. The Jedi arrive, they find Ziro's body. And I like Cad Bane just stepping out like, hey, I didn't kill him.
Yeah, he's like, why I didn't do this. Come on. I'm better than that.
And they're like, all right, that's fine.
But we're going to chase you.
We need you. We can't let you go. You did kill other people. You freed him. You blew up like the Senate building.
Yeah, he's like that kid that goes, I didn't do that. Why are you looking at me?
Yeah. Then we get them like a nice little fight here. Cad Bane's firing at the Jedi. Because he says separatists are paying 1 million credit bounties per Jedi head. That's a pretty good deal.
Cash there, baby.
We got this cool scene where like Toto stops Voss from killing Bane, and then Obi-Wan stops Bane from killing Voss as well. Obi-Wan disarms Bane. He then gets Voss's lightsaber. He electrocutes Obi-Wan. Voss takes him down. He's still able to he escapes without his hat, right? Like he just gets out of there, man. He has no guns.
Doesn't he lose his hat in Mandalorian? Like I swear, or no, Book of Boba Fett. Which one is he in?
Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I don't think he loses it totally. I think he does take it off or something though.
How many hats do we think? Leave in the comments below. How many hats have we?
How many hats has he gone through?
Yeah.
We'll track it.
Yeah.
what we find out is that the singer then takes the diary to Jabba. So she's working for Jabba now. And that sets up maybe why she is, of course, a singer in Return of the Jedi. So I just thought that was very interesting. She's like, don't send a bounty hunter for my job, or I don't know what she says. She says something like that. But yeah, so that was the little arc we have here with Ziro the Hutt and Cad Bane. You know where I watched this for the first time, by the way?
What year is this? 2009.
Yeah, but I didn't watch it when it aired this episode.
Oh,
This episode, I remember watching it, and I remembered it once I saw Quinlan Voss and Obi-Wan versus Cad Bane jumping from rock to rock and all
yeah.
that. My Chatham apartment in 2015.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was watching Clone Wars. It was on Netflix, so it was easily available without buying like DVDs and
Yeah.
stuff now. And I remember sitting there watching that scene.
Jeez. That's
So
cool
9
though.
years ago.
That's always fun though.
Yeah.
Like when you can remember. Like I remember so many How I Met Your Mother episodes because of
Like where you were when you
where
first
we
watching it.
watched them. Yeah. Like I remember watching ones with you guys. I remember watching Marshall's father die. Like totally off topic, but with you guys for the first time. Like that's the first time I'd ever
That
seen.
was your first time watching it?
Yeah. Yep. Because you guys were way ahead. I remember you guys would watch.
I watched it while it was airing.
You guys
Yeah.
watched the finale, I think. When, right? I think that's when the finale.
The finale was the year we got back, so early 2014.
Okay. But I remember you guys watching.
But we were
like,
watching the final. Yeah,
build-ups.
we were watching the final season. You know the episode where Marshall's on the bus in the
Yes.
final season?
Yes.
I watched part of that in the cafeteria in the Utilidor.
Yeah.
Because it was when it was happening, and I was
Right.
down there on my break, and I was like, "Oh my god, they have How I Met Your Mother on
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah, because I think I
It's
watched
wild.
the one. I remember watching the one with you guys that way where he's on the laptop. But like, I don't know. It's just cool. It's cool to see, like, or remember where you were when this is all taking place. And now I'll always remember Clone Wars. Like I remember my first movie going experience with Star Wars. So it's like, you know, where these shows and where I've seen them and where I played with, Fallen Jedi or Fallen Order. It's like,
Yeah, you got to play Jedi Survivor.
I know.
It's better.
Is it?
Yeah, I
No.
love it so much more. It's really great.
Jeez, I've got a lot of time coming up.
Yeah. But like the theater that I went and saw Attack of the Clones in is closed.
Damn.
It closed last year.
Yeah.
So I can't even that thing's gone.
Right.
It's crazy. The theater I saw Revenge of the Sith in is actually the theater that I could get the tickets for Phantom Menace right now. So that's kind of wild.
That is.
I could do that, I guess. All right. But yeah, so I guess any last thoughts on these 3 episodes, the story arc here. Cad Bane's a badass. I like him a lot.
I know. I need to go. I mean, Mandalorian are always going to be my favorite characters in Star Wars, but I think the bounties are starting to catch up because I like a lot of bounty hunters. Cad Bane being one of my favorites, and his voice is so cool. Like in Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett, like it's so scary. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed these episodes. I am glad though that Ziro's dead because I think he gets kind of annoying.
Yes, he does.
I find him very annoying.
When we were watching this, Joy was like, "Is that the person that voices Smee?" Because it does sound like Smee. It's not.
It does sound like Smee.
The guy that voices Ziro actually voices Cad Bane, I think, as well.
Really?
Corey Burton for both of them. But he also voices Captain Hook from Jake and the Neverland Pirates. So it's funny when she asked about Smee, and I'm like, actually, Captain Hook.
That's funny. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
But he doesn't. It's a very similar voice to Smee, though. I don't know how to describe what his voice is. Let's see. Cad Bane is voiced by Corey Burton, who also voices Ziro the Hutt. So there you go. And of course, the singer I'm talking about is Cy Snoodles. Of course. Of course, that's what I was talking about.
Sounds like a yummy dish.
Yeah, a side of noodles. All right. At podawakens for any sort of feedback, podawakens@gmail.com if you want to send us any sort of long form feedback. Next week, so we're cleaning up some of these past seasons, all right? Because next week, we're going back to season 2. But first, we have season 3, episode 10, Heroes on Both Sides, season 3, episode 11, Pursuit of Peace, and then season 2, episode 15, Senate Murders. That'll be our 20th week of Clone Wars chronologically watching. And I'll tell you, in a few weeks, we got a heavy batch of episodes, which is the Mortis trilogy. Which I realized I've had skipped an episode on there. I had to edit it into your list and my list of before it said there was only 2 on episode 1 week 22nd. There's actually 3. I totally skipped episode 15 of season 3. I guess somehow accidentally deleted it or something because I just copy and pasted from the I'm pretty sure I copy and pasted from the list on starwars.com. But yeah, so we only got a few more weeks of season we got like 5 weeks of season 3 left, and then we'll be on to season 4. How many weeks did I say this is? 40, because I'm adding Tales of the Jedi, which we'll do 2 weeks of. 45 weeks. So we're still not even halfway, but we're 20 next week will be 20 out of 45 weeks. So we'll have 25 weeks to go after
flying that. By.
It is. That's half a year left to go, actually.
It's wild.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps us up. Like I said, at podawakens, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. I mentioned last week that we're going to be hopefully getting those episodes for the High Republic and stuff. We've recorded this one so far in advance. I don't have any recorded yet. Still haven't left for vacation yet. So when I come back, the plan is to get those guests locked in. I'm actually off on Good Friday, so I'm thinking of maybe if people are available that day to like knock out like 2 or 3 of those things. But then we'll schedule them out for Fridays as we build up to the Acolyte, which seems to be the next Star Wars show on Disney Plus. Later this year, we should also get Skeleton Crew as well, which stars Jude Law. So we should get that later in the year as well. Bad Batch final season's currently going on. Like I said, I'm not doing those on there. I think we're just going to wait and do that with Logan when it's his first watch and just kind of do what we're doing with this. And we'll have to come up with a clever name for that, like Chronological Clone Wars. I don't know what it'll be. Bad Batch Bros. I don't know.
Oh, dear. Oh, man. We'll come up with something way better than that.
All right. Thank you all for watching and listening. We will catch you next time.